Every gardener wants more earthworms. They aerate the soil, increase drainage, build organic matter, and leave behind castings that outperform commercial fertilizers. The problem is that most people try to attract worms with methods that either take too long or fail completely. Worms are simple creatures. They follow scent signals. When those smells tell them food is available, moisture is stable, and the environment is safe, they move fast. What many gardeners don't realize is that you can trigger those signals on demand with a 3-ingredient mix that costs almost nothing to make. This blend works because it combines carbohydrates, protein, and mild fermentation, 3 things that earthworms detect instantly. They sense decomposing organic material through chemical cues in the soil. When those cues are strong enough, they travel upward or inward in surprising numbers. With the right mix, you can watch a lifeless garden bed come alive within 24 hours. So the key is giving worms what they love without creating a stinking mess or attracting pests. When mixed properly, this bait draws worms while still protecting soil health. The first ingredient is used coffee grounds. There is something about lightly spent coffee that worms respond to quickly. It contains nitrogen, lignin, and a small amount of fermentation potential once it begins to break down. Coffee grounds also hold moisture and improve soil texture. In the garden world, they act almost like a mild compost accelerator. Worms detect both the moisture and the faint acidic aroma, which signals decomposing plant matter. Fresh grounds are too strong, but used grounds are perfect. 1 cup per square foot is more than enough for attraction. Too much can heat up or sour the soil. The second ingredient is unsulfured molasses. This is where the mix becomes irresistible. Molasses provides sugars that microbes consume rapidly, which creates exactly the kind of microbial bloom earthworms seek out. Worms don't actually eat molasses. They eat the microorganisms that feed on it. When microbes explode in population, the soil warms slightly and releases scent traces worms can detect from several inches away. Molasses also provides potassium, calcium, iron, and trace minerals, but honestly, the real power comes from its ability to drive microbial activity. A tablespoon of molasses per quart of water is the safe ratio. Anything stronger, well, it can ferment too aggressively. The third ingredient is the one most gardeners overlook: finely shredded leaf mold. Leaf mold is partially decomposed leaves, dark, crumbly, and rich in natural fungi. It's not the same as compost and not the same as dried leaves. The leaf mold holds moisture better than anything else you can add to soil, and earthworms consider it a sensory beacon. The fungal aroma signals a stable, mature, organic layer, which is exactly the environment worms want to move into. Even a handful blended into the topsoil creates a scent profile that worms respond to quickly. If you don't already have leaf mold, you can create a simple starter by soaking shredded leaves in water for 24 hours and squeezing out the softened pieces. To make the worm-attracting blend, mix 1 cup of used coffee grounds with 2 cups of damp leaf mold. Bring the mixture together in a bowl using your hands so the textures combine. It should feel moist, not wet. In a separate container, dissolve 1 tablespoon of molasses into 1 quart of warm water. Stir thoroughly and allow it to cool. Once the mixture is cool, pour just enough onto your coffee leaf mix to lightly moisten it. The goal is a damp, fluffy blend, never a paste or slurry. If it clumps, Add more leaf mold until it becomes loose and crumbly again. This bait works best when applied directly onto bare soil, so clear away mulch so the aroma rises freely. Then spread a thin layer, no more than ½ an inch thick, over the area where you want worm activity. The mix doesn't need to be buried. In fact, leaving it on the surface allows worms to detect it faster. Lightly water the bed so the moisture settles everything into place. Within 6 hours, you'll notice small casts forming around the mix in the early morning. Within 24 hours, the soil should be significantly more active. In some beds, you can lift the edge of the mix and see worms feeding directly beneath it. If your soil is extremely dry or compacted, lightly loosen the top inch with a fork before applying the blend. Worms need at least moderate moisture to move upward. Storing the mix is simple. Keep the coffee grounds and leaf mold dry in separate containers. The molasses solution should be made fresh each time because it ferments within 24 hours. You can create a week's worth of dry blend by mixing equal parts grounds and leaf mold in a sealed bucket. When you're ready to use it, just moisten only what you need with the molasses water. Avoid storing the moistened blend, as it can ferment or develop sour odors that, well, repel earthworms instead of attracting them. Regular use of this mix transforms soil structure. When worms move into an area, they create channels that improve drainage and aeration. Their castings also enrich the soil with stable nitrogen and highly available nutrients. After a few weeks of weekly applications, gardeners usually notice richer soil color, quicker infiltration after watering, and improved root growth in nearby plants. Once earthworm populations become established, you can reduce application frequency to once a month simply to maintain activity. This 3-ingredient mix is easy, inexpensive, and incredibly effective. It works because it mimics the natural signals of decomposing organic matter in a controlled, gentle way. If you found this guide helpful and want more practical soil-building methods, make sure to subscribe to Gentle Herb Living and share this video with a fellow gardener who needs better soil and more earthworms.